Well, Thabo, after several hours of the meeting here in the city of Johannesburg at this council chambers, we saw this house once again collapsing. And this follows throughout the day where we saw, the ANC, began with the ANC and the EFF. They initially asked for 30-minute breaks, and they said that they would want to they would want to caucus with their members. We then began seeing this as well from some of the minority parties. And then after, all of that happened, Thabo, we then started seeing the likes of Action SA asking for the same requests and the Patriotic Alliance. But Thabo, we do know that while that was underway and we saw these breaks and stops and, of course, the caucusing which was continuing, we do know that the situation on the ground is that some of the political parties were still in negotiations and they did not want this specific voting to get underway today. But of course, after a very lengthy process, we then saw at the end of the day, of course, when this House formed a quorum, when it was time to vote for the chair of chairs, we saw by a show of hands, and that was some of the issues here. The main issues earlier on in the day was that council members, especially from the ANC and the EFF, they wanted the voting in the House to be done through a secret ballot. But the opposition, or rather, of course, the DA and the likes of the Action SA, they wanted this to be done through a show of hands. But of course, we then saw the Speaker saying that they will continue to see this voting process go through. And we then saw Colleen Makubele from COPE being voted in for the position of chair of chairs. But we know, Thabo, that there are still a number of other issues still outstanding when it comes to the voting process. We know that they still need to vote for the chairpersons of those oversight committees, and that's quite important to the city. But throughout the day, speaking to some of those in the opposition, the likes of the ANC and the EFF and some of the minority parties, when it comes to the issue around having a secret ballot, they had said that because when you look at the Municipal Structures Act, according to the city and the legal advice that they have sought, they were saying that according to their legal advice, only the Speaker, the Mayor and the Chief Whip can be voted through a secret ballot, but everything else should be done through a show of hands. But the likes of the EFF saying that their legal opinion is saying that this issue is silent when you look at the Municipal Structures Act. But I suppose when you look at the candidate that was placed forward by that multi-party coalition consisting of the DA, Action SA, Patriotic Alliance, COPE, it seems as if they've gotten their way today just for this battle when it comes to the chair of chairs position. So we know that council is expected to resume, Thabo, on the 27th of January, and they will then try and vote in or go through the process of voting in for those crucial chairpersons who will hold this House accountable.
Mbali Tetana, appreciate you coming through tonight. That's Mbali, they're live for us in Braamfontein. Of course, reciting, accounting for us what has taken place throughout the day today in that council chamber. We speak now to the caucus leader for the ANC in the city of Johannesburg, Mpho Moerane, and he's going to give us a sense of really why they withdrew their nominations for the chair of chair. But also, is this a red flag of things to come? And we should be expecting these haphazard council meetings in the future. Mr. Moerane, good evening. Thank you very much for your time and joining us tonight here on In Focus. Is this the best we can really do for the residents of the city of Johannesburg? I mean, 8-hour marathon meeting of something that really could have been so quite simple if parties cooperated.
Good evening, Thabo, and good evening to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. Thabo, the ANC went into a meeting and requested a caucus at 11 o'clock, a 30-minute caucus. At 11:30, we came back. We raised our concerns with the Speaker, but I personally gave the Speaker assurance that this meeting will continue. What happened last week will never happen, and we will get through to the business of the day of electing chair of chairs and Section 79 chairpersons. And yes, indeed, we kept through to our weight of sitting the meeting, discipline, and making sure that the meeting continues. However, Thabo, other parties started requesting for their own caucuses, and they have the right for their caucus. And I can tell you that most major parties requested for caucuses, including the governing party in the city, the DA, which was the last requesting caucus after 6 p.m. So you can imagine the whole day we spend the day parties requesting for caucuses. But as the African National Congress, we made it clear that we want to see the business of the day concluded today. Unfortunately, Thabo, we allowed the chair of chairs to be elected, and we were not participating to elect the chair of chairs. The EFF decided to withdraw their nomination, but also our nominations for other positions of chairs, we withdrew them because of one reason. We requested a secret ballot because we wanted to make sure that the process is free and fair. But we said we will not disrupt the meeting. If the speaker does not give us our right of a secret ballot, we will not interrupt the meeting. The meeting will continue. Voting in the chair of chairs is a sign of that we never disrupted the meeting. The meeting went ahead to elect.
But what about parties that left before the chair of chair could be announced?
If my memory serves me well, Thabo, the chair of chairs, I think, it was a very strong day. I think she was announced, but I'm not 100% sure. But the party that left in that process after the nomination, after the election of the chair, is the IFP. And we don't know why they have left. We also had our own small caucus as the ANC and our minority parties. We also decided that if the EFF, the IFP is leaving, we are also leaving because we don't know what's happening now. And we left the meeting. I just received calls and WhatsApp messages that the meeting did not reach quorum and the meeting did not conclude its business. But we were of the opinion that we wanted the ruling party with their partners to conclude on electing chair of chairs. When we withdraw, it means we say you can now continue with the business of the day on your own because you are refusing us the right of a secret ballot.
What do you find flawed about that process? Because the speaker saying, well, the rule book does not allow for the chairpersons of Section 79 committees to be voted via a secret ballot.
Section 24.3 of the rule book says there will be elections. It does not say by show of hands. It does not say by a secret ballot. So in the past, it was show of hands. But we know things are changing. Now in a multi-party government, we are in government of local unity. Things changes. We said, but in this particular case, things are changing. We request that the voting be done through a secret ballot.
Yeah.
And
what material difference would that bring? Because the people of the city of Johannesburg are sitting and watching and saying, well, these meetings are not going on because here's the ANC requesting this secret ballot. What material difference is that going to bring? Because here it is. You said, okay, go ahead. The chair of chairs was voted via show of hands. What benefit would the secret ballot would have been here? Would the outcome have been different?
Well, the outcome was going to be different, Thabo, if we have done a secret ballot. But we said, because of you don't want to give us a secret ballot, let the business continue. And hence the chair of chairs was elected. So the ANC did not hold any meeting. We actually went in. I even personally made a plea to the speaker to enter into a discussion with us. I will make sure that the business of the day continues. We, as the African National Congress, are committed to make sure that the city works, the council works, to make sure that there's oversight on service delivery. And let me clarify, Thabo. Service delivery is done by the executive. It's not done by the legislature. The legislature role is to play an oversight role on the executive.
Yeah, a very important oversight role that needs to be played.
At this particular point, because the MMCs are there, the MMCs are working. we want to hold the MMC into account, and hence we need oversight. And oversight is played by Section 79 committees.
What is the view then of the ANC of this reports that are saying there are still negotiations that are going on amongst smaller parties and the ANC, or at least those who are in the minority, to try and come up with some deal, and therefore this delay in the appointment of the chairpersons is a deliberate move?
Well, not on our part. We went into a meeting with our partners. We have our partners. It was very clear. The house was divided. It was ANC and partners. It was DA and their partners. We were confident that secret ballot we were going to win. We accepted that they don't want to give us. We withdrew from participating. So there is no backroom negotiations. We were clear. We had our partners. We never negotiated with anyone, except the partners we went into the meeting with.
All right, let's continue with the caucus leader for the ANC, the City of Johannesburg, when we continue next. Is this in the best interest of residents? What are your thoughts tonight? 072-110-5584. Tweet us at Newzroom405. We're back shortly. Welcome back live with you tonight here on In Focus. Newzroom Afrika, channel 405. Councillor Mpho Moerane, the ANC Joburg caucus leader, with us tonight, following, of course, yet another meeting that did not finish the business of the day in the city of Johannesburg. The session went ahead, but with some starts, stops, breaks, parties requesting numerous caucus meetings, bringing about a number of delays, but of course resulting in a vote for the chair of chairs that did indeed go ahead. Mpho, you're quoted as saying it is well for them to support the speaker when he's flouting all rules, but we are not going to be party to that. What does that mean? Does that mean on the 27th you will not be putting forward names for the various Section 79 committees?
Well, Thabo, on the 27th, it's a new meeting. It will be the fourth council meeting. It means there must be new nominations of chairs. As the African National Congress, we will sit as a caucus. We will decide if we are fielding candidates or not. I can't make that decision right now. It's a decision that must be made by caucus. We will continue fighting for the secret ballot. We will also, on our part, get an independent legal opinion, but we will also pursue the speaker to get his own independent legal opinion. And I can tell you now, I can give you assurance, we will abide to that opinion, because the speaker is using his common sense. The rules are very clear, but they are silent on how we vote. And legal opinion will help us. This is not the first time we have a disagreement in council and we seek legal opinion on how we should move forward. The Municipal Systems Act does say that voting for speaker, mayor, and the whip of council is done through a secret ballot. Voting in chair of chairs and chairpersons of committees is elections. But elections, you can decide how you want to do elections. So it is something that the speaker could have allowed. If the DA believes that they have the majority, why are they scared of a secret ballot? And I kept on asking them, you won. You have the mayor, you have the chief whip, you have the speaker. Why are you scared this time to do a secret ballot when you have won? So they couldn't give me that answer.
Now,
so I believe.
You yourself?
I believe.
Yes.
So it means the problem is with them and their partners. It means there's cracks. They don't trust each other. That's what it means.
You approached the MEC for COCTA following the disruptions in the previous meeting. What are the outcomes of that engagement with the MEC for COCTA?
We wrote to the MEC on Friday, a day after the meeting collapsed, complaining about the speaker, that he was very impartial. In my view, I don't want to use this word, but I think the speaker was very bully. He didn't want to engage with us, debate with us. And I asked him, Speaker, call the chief whip, let the chief whip discuss with the whips of all parties to come to a common understanding so that we can make this work. He refused. So the meeting ended up getting erupted. And I believe that he must take the responsibility. Even today, he was so kind of a village, but at least today he was better than last week because he was engaging. That's why we could get to a point where we elect the chair of chairs. But last week he was very bullying, and we complained to the MEC. We want the MEC to investigate and take corrective action.
Is there a way in which this business of council can be carried out without being partisan and really putting the interests of the people ahead of everything else?
Well, Tabiso, let me start by saying that, when you elect a speaker, the speaker is a speaker of council. He's not a speaker of a certain political party. He must treat all councillors equal. He must make sure that all parties are treated equally. But when it comes to the council delivering, making sure that they play an oversight to the residents of Johannesburg, that is the most key important thing. That is why councillors are there. They are there because of they represent communities, and they must make sure that communities get served. And I always say to our councillors, you don't represent the council, you represent the community. Whatever you do, you are a bridge between the council and the community. Therefore, you are elected by the community, you represent the community. So it is in our interest as the African National Congress to make sure that the 87 wards that we have won out of 155, we are the majority. We are the majority of those wards. Those wards need to be serviced, and we will hold those who are in the executive accountable to make sure they deliver services in the wards we are elected in. 87 out of 135 is more than 50%, almost 60% of the wards that we have. So it is in our best interest that the city functions, the city works. The council functions, the council works. Yeah. Councillors do their work.
The SG of the ANC was suspended. The SG speaking the last weekend at a funeral and saying the ANC has got to be honest. You lost power in the city. You lost. I mean, ultimately, you are not in control of that city. It means you have been rejected by the electorate at the polls. Can the ANC be trusted, therefore, with legislative oversight, having been rejected in that way?
Thabo, we lost 50 plus 1. It means we lost the majority. But Thabo, I can assure you that we won 87 wards out of 135. It means we are the majority party. We have 91 seats in council with the party with the highest number of seats in council. Saying we are rejected, I don't think it's true. That is why we have the highest number of seats. Yes, indeed, we don't have the numbers to give us the executive to make sure that we have the mayor, the speaker, and the whip of council. When we lost on the 22nd of November, I made a statement that I am glad to serve as leader of the opposition. We went to our opposition benches. We made a promise that we will be an effective opposition. We don't want to control the city. We are the opposition party in this particular case, and we are happy to hold the executive to account as the opposition party in Johannesburg.
Is there a move tactically from your side as the ANC in Johannesburg to woe in the other smaller parties who have also seemingly sided with you in this particular matter of a secret ballot?
Well, Thabo, we are in politics. Things change every day. They say there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies. We'll continue to engage all parties in the city to make sure that we serve our residents. If all parties are amenable to our ideas, because I think we have ideas, we have the plans to take the city forward, they might say, we want to work with you, the ANC. And we will not say no, we will not close the door. We'll continue to work with all the parties. And if they say we want you to take over because we are now thinking it's time that you can deliver what we have delivered in the past years, we will try to do so.
What does that mean? It means we should be expecting a vote of no confidence from the ANC, having wooed the other parties, and you're confident that they're on your side?
Well, Thabo, at this particular moment, I can't say we're going to pass a motion. But what has happened last week, Thursday, it calls for a reason that the speaker is not fit enough to lead this council for the next 5 years. there will be chaotic, there will be chaos. So it is important that probably another party takes over the speaker. I can tell you, as ANC, we are not that desperate to take over the speaker of council. I want to make it on record. I want to make it clear. But if other parties say we can do a better job, we will work with them.
Yeah. You enjoy seemingly the support also. I don't know whether it's support, but you were on the same side with the EFF on this particular matter of a secret ballot. Was there a conversation amongst those parties on this matter?
Well, Thabo, if you look at our votes, you look at the EFF votes, they come from the same constituency. It is time that we need to engage because we serve the same constituency. Of the 87 wards that we have won, the EFF has a lot of votes that they have won as well in those wards. It is important, as I said, we will work with people that have a common interest for our people.
Mpho Moerane, we appreciate your time and thank you very much for joining us tonight here on In Focus. That is Councillor Mpho Moerane, ANC's Joburg caucus leader.